Nobody walks into a room and is a successful leader who says, I will now lead you. That doesn't happen. Leaders become leaders because people follow them and they find themselves in a leadership role. And so what we've seen here is that those people who are, those kids who were part of Teach One, Lead One last year and are a part of Teach One, Lead One this year, through their behavior and through their actions, kids are following them. We've had a lot of cultural shifts in a positive way. Teach One, Lead One was already at Battleground High School, and I'm friends with one of the mentors who was at Fort Vancouver High School, and he happened to be talking about Teach One, Lead One, what a great program it was. At the same time, I didn't know that my assistant principal was talking to the assistant principal at Battleground High School about this great program they had called Teach One, Lead One. And the more we talked about it, the more we realized this is exactly what we need at Daybreak. And we thought, boy, these universal principles are talking about, these fit right into exactly what we need to do. And it just so happens we have a group of kids who really need this extra support. So it was a natural fit.
The greatest value that I saw Teach One Lead program has for these kids is that Teach One and Lead One brings out leadership values in these kids. It teaches them to make deposits into other people's accounts, to use kind words, to be up standards. I went ahead and changed the schedule from Thursday to Friday because I wanted the kids to have that voice of truth, in the back of their minds, and having that time for Teach One, Lead One, for the mentors to come in, and having that positive impact before the weekend. Having such a positive group of mentors come in for these kids really impacts their lives. They come and talk to me, oh, I wish today was, Teach One, Lead One, and it's only Monday. Or, I can't wait for Teach One to Lead One. So it's a good program for these kids to, bring their universal principles out.
Mentor Jack, he's a great example. He is not a man that kids would typically run across in their everyday lives, right? But Teach One, Lead One provides them an outlet to connect with a man like him with his experience. And he is a pretty unique guy. And he's got a lot of life experience. And he's able to connect it to the kids. It's pretty impressive when you see a 65-plus-year-old man connect with an 11-year-old boy in a really meaningful way. Now that 11-year-old boy is going to think, oh, that's what it can look like. That's the kind of guy I could be. I'm okay if they want to be like Jack, right? That's a good thing. So now that's their impression of what it's supposed to look like as opposed to what's generally out there on social media, right? I'd rather have them be influenced by, all of our mentors, by people like our mentors, than by what's just generally publicly available.
Personally, I believe that you become like the people you're around. My mom said when she got older, she didn't want to become cynical. And when you get old, you can become cynical. It's easy. And coming here, that doesn't happen. More things are caught than taught. And I see that, especially this group, are really sharp and they're catching stuff. We just keep pitching and they just keep catching. And that's why I come. That's why I come.
Why do I go into a classroom with these kids? I love it. I love spending time with them and just getting to know them. your stomach? How do I know your stomach will appreciate it?
My biggest reason for mentoring and getting involved with Teach One to Lead One is because I really struggled in school. And so my first year joining Teach One to Lead One and just getting familiar with the program and like what the kids were learning, I just walked away with this feeling of like, man, like I wish that I had like this support and like this program when I was in school. The great thing about Teach One to Lead One is like being with the kids for the whole school year. And so like we really get to see the impact that the program makes on the students.
Last year's community service project that we did, Shane, he decided that he wanted to do a scooter wreck because he noticed, dropping off his sibling over at the primary, he noticed that they're in need of a scooter wreck. There's scooters all over the place. It's kind of dangerous for especially the primary kids. Just the steps that they took, riding the community for supplies, hardware, lumber, sandpaper, screws, and stuff like that. And then having, the stuff come in and having them be able to work on their scooter racks was just an amazing, from writing letters to, receiving the materials to putting the stuff together and presenting it to the primary was just a fabulous, awesome idea. So watching him grow from day one to where he decided that he wanted to build a scooter rack for the primary to graduation day, I mean, it was such a wonderful transformation that he has made. He is such a sweet, sweet boy that I'm glad that he had an opportunity to be in Teach One to Lead One program.
Community partnerships are essential. You can't exist as a neighborhood school in particular if the community is out there and you are in here. And so when people hear Teach One Lead One is, at Daybreak, we're getting more parent volunteers. We're getting more of that is happening now. And that's, like I said, that's a cultural shift. And it's good stuff.
Nathan, I just saw you. Did you get my coat?